Hello, 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 and welcome to ER Emotional Response. This is Life Coaching with Ink Ivory. Hello, how are you doing today? I know well because you're listening. You're listening, and if you're not doing well, you could listen long enough to start doing well. It is suggested, not told. Let's clarify that. Anyway, today's topic is a pretty challenging topic, but I want to talk about the other aspect of my profession. I am also an image coach, and I talk a lot about life coaching, but life and image coaching go hand in hand. And people might ask, well, what is image coaching? Image coaching has a lot to do with what you see, working on internally, as well as how you feel. Image coaching has a lot to do with what messages you sending out without even opening your mouth. Image coaching. So tonight, I'm talking and diving in the topic of sex appeal. This is a heavy topic, and it's been a while since I said heavy topic, but this really is a heavy topic because it's going through social media and society at such a rapid pace. People are getting to the point where they don't know when to stop or where to stop. And so they're binging on sex appeal for the need of satisfaction through different emotions. And we're going to talk about that. Yes, sex sells. And there's nothing wrong with that in its context. In its proper context, sex sells. And I brought up an episode last year where I was telling you and advising you how you should really know that your identity as an individual, as a soul, a flesh person. You should know your identity aside from your sexuality. And at times, people convey their identity through their sexuality. However, they're totally two totally separate, different concepts. Your identity has to do with who you are. Your sexuality has to do with your preference. And when you define the world in its correct terms, you live more in a more sane world. Because what is happening with people defining their identity through their sex, they're being mistreated, they're being misinformed, and they're communicating to others messages they really don't intend. And so you have to step back. Trends are going around. Popular views are going around, and you have to step back and remain true to yourself. So image coaching is advising you not just on the external level, but the internal level to deal with you and who you are. Who you are as a person. Are you happy? Are you loving to yourself? Are you respectful to yourself? And that could vary depending on the person. What someone else defines as self-respect might be different for you. But you have to be comfortable enough in your skin to be real enough with yourself. There are times in life where it's okay to admit that you're a little off. You're a little off emotionally about certain matters. And once you get to the point where you can admit that you're a little off with certain matters, you can only become better. because you face the problem for what it is. So then you could take steps in moving towards the solution. Sex appeal. Sex appeal is a concept that draws people to people. Sex appeal allows a person to get a vibe from you, to want to be physically connected with you. No one looks at someone with sex appeal and say, "Oh, I want to be emotionally connected with them." And that's just being honest. When you're out at a club, when you're at a social setting, when you're at a dinner, where you're at a happy hour, where you're at a wedding, and you find someone to have sex appeal, they're sexy, they have a certain way about them that appeals sexually to you, it's okay to admit that person, aka got swag, aka got it going on, aka is set apart from someone else. When they step into the room, it makes your eyes twinkle. And it's okay. Let's look at that first. It's okay, number one, to have sex appeal, and number two, to look at someone and say they have sex appeal. And then define sex appeal correctly. It's a certain aura about you, a certain disposition. You could have on a purple trash bag walking down the street, but if you have sex appeal, you will catch somebody's attention a little longer than a glance. You can have the weirdest hat on, but the way you carry yourself is so appealing that it catches the most focused girl. Sex appeal. And this is being blown out of proportion. People, IG models, people in the world and society and at your job, at work, they have blurred the lines and trying to be sexy towards people that they want to be attracted to. First of all, there's a time and a place for everything. So let's look at that. Your club outfit doesn't need to be at your work setting. Your work environment and your social environment is two different entities. And you should be functioning differently. Can you find people that's attractive at your job? Yes. But you should have enough self-control to know what goes on in that job versus what goes on at social settings. You can have a pencil skirt with a lace covered shirt that goes all the way through up your neck and is not revealing at all, and still have sex appeal. It's okay. Let me stress that. It's okay to want to gain attractiveness from someone else. It's okay to want people to recognize that you have sex appeal. You are sexy. That's not a negative. But in its proper context, it's not a negative. It becomes a negative when you misuse the term and you blow even your conduct out of proportion to emphasize the term. You could take pictures at certain angles. You could wear attire with certain colors and certain lighting, and it brings on a level of sex appeal. But we are getting too far. There has been a saying back in the day where you give You leave some room for mystery. You leave some room for imagination. And in the spirit of keeping it real, you don't have to expose everything. Sex appeal. Sex appeal. Yes, you are attractive, but do you need to throw up a picture in your boxers on IG or Facebook to get your likes up? Do you need to, as a female, take off your bra and show your areolas, sit with your legs crocked open, showing everything? It's getting very crazy, and people's need for attention is getting very crazy. It's okay to want attention from someone that you find attractive, or they find attractive to you. But you have to put things in perspective. If you put all of that out there, you also have to, again, move through life like chess, not checkers. So if you put in areolas out there, if you put in your waistline cut into your genital areas out to the public, anticipate, pre-calculate people jumping in your inbox saying inappropriate things, because in their eyes you're inappropriate. So let's ride that wave, let's ride that frequency. Anticipate someone offering to take you out to dinner or out for coffee after posting an explicit picture, and then they looking to deal with you physically in a very intimate way. And I'm being tactful in how I present it, because number one, I don't want to offend anyone, and number two, I want the message to be grasped. In no shape or form am I saying human contact is a negative. However, I need thinking to be cut back on with our actions and the things we do. That I don't give a F attitude, or so what, who cares what people think, okay? But you have to go to sleep with you. You have to look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day. And if you have sold yourself for the sake of getting likes, you have lost touch with self. You have lost touch with self. Because that thrill from getting a certain number of likes will go away. That thrill of opening your inbox, your DM, and finding several people interested in you, that thrill will go away. And you might respond like, I don't want to respond back to them. I really wasn't intending for all of that. I just wanted the attention. But life is played like chess, not checkers. You have to pre-think things. You have to think, if you're putting all of you physically out there to be seen, you have to pre-plan somebody addressing you and putting everything out there, all their thoughts, their desires, their lusts. You have to anticipate that. And number two, you can't not.